All right, guys, so for today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be solving word problems involving the volume of rectangular prisms. And so you guys all remember that the volume equation is going to be length times width times height, okay? So we're going to do this first one, and it says that he builds rectangular planters, okay? So his first planter, and I'm going to draw this rectangular prism, and kind of how they draw this is they don't draw it completely 3D, but kind of a little bit. It says that his first planter is 8 feet long, 2 feet wide, okay? And it says the container is filled with soil to a height of 3 feet, okay? So this is where the soil goes, okay? So the rest is probably just kind of air, whatever it is, okay? What is the volume of the soil in the planter? So I want to know what's the volume of the soil, not the volume of the whole entire planter, because we don't know how tall it is. We only know that the soil goes 3 feet high, okay? So to figure out the volume of the soil, and it's all in feet, I'm going to go ahead and do 8 feet times 2 feet times 3 feet. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do 16 feet here, and then I know I'm going to do 16 feet times 3 feet, okay? So 16 times 3 is going to be 48 cubic feet, okay? This one says, the next one, it says, Jeffrey wants to grow some tomatoes in 4 large planters. He wants each of the planters to have a volume of 320 cubic feet. So each of the volumes needs to be 320 cubic feet, okay? And that's why I'm going to write this up here so that we kind of know this, okay? And it says, but he wants them to all be different. And so it says to show 4 different ways that Jeffrey can make these planters and draw the diagrams with the planter's measurements on them. And so on this one, you probably are sitting here, well, how can I do this? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to be working backwards, okay? And so the first one I could probably do is I'm going to say, well, I'm going to do 320, and I know that if I do length times width, that's going to give me the area. So I can probably figure out at least my height and come up with 4 different heights to figure this out. So let's say I'm going to have my height on this one be 5 feet. I'm going to have my height on this one. Let's do my height on this one. I'm going to do just 4 feet. Okay, my height on this one, I'm going to do 6 feet, and then my height on this one, I'm going to do 2 feet. Okay, so then what I can do is when I draw my planter, so I'm just going to draw this planter, and it might not be to scale, and that is completely okay. I just want you guys to know that it doesn't necessarily have to be to scale, but I know I want my height to be 5 feet. Okay, on this one, I know I want my height to be 4 feet. Okay, on this one, I know I want my height to be 6 feet. And on this one, I know I want my height to be 2 feet. Okay, doesn't really kind of look it. I'm not going to like measure it, hold it to scale or anything, but it's just something that we have. So I know that if I've got 320 and 5 feet, I'm going to take 320 and I'm going to divide it by 5. 5 goes into 326 minus 30 equals 20. Let's see here, 5 goes in 64 minus 20. Okay, so I know that right here my area is going to be 64. And so when I think about it, I want to look, and you guys can get your multiplication table out, and I want to think about, is there any 2 numbers that I could multiply together that would give me 64? Okay. I could honestly do maybe 64 divided by 2. So I'm going to do 64 divided by 2, 3 minus, let's see here, 6, 0, bring down my 4, 2, 32. So then what it would be is that I would say that maybe my length is 32 feet, my width is going to be 2 feet, and then my height will be 5 feet. So it'll be pretty long. So then guys, if I went through and did this, I would do 32 times 2 32 times 2 should give me that 64, and then 64 times 5 will give me that volume of 320. Okay, so the same thing over here. I'm going to do the same thing like I did over here. Is I'm going to do 4 feet, but I'm going to take 320 and I'm going to divide it by 4. Let's see here, 4 goes into 320 8 times, minus 32, and I get 80 left. Okay, so then I want to think about, well, what could I do for this? What could I take 80 by? Well, I'm going to do something simple, and I'm just going to do 10 feet and 8 feet, so that I've got 10 feet as my length, and then my width would be 8 feet, because if I did 10 times 8, that would give me 80, and then 80 times 4 will give me that 320. Okay, same thing down here. Let's do 32, or 320 divided by 6 to figure out what my area would be. All right, 6 goes into 32 5 times, minus 30 equals 20. Oh, this is going to give me something that's not going to be easy. So I'm not going to do 6 feet. I'm going to change this because I want it to be a nice number. So let's do, if I have 32, 320, I already did my height of 4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do my height of 8. I'm going to do 8 feet high. So then 8 goes into 32, 4 minus 32. Bring down my 0, goes in 0. So this is going to be 8 feet. So I have 40 left. And so honestly, guys, I'm just going to do 8 feet by 5 feet, because I know 8 times 5 is going to be 40. So if I do 8 times 5, that's 40. Then 40 times 8 is going to give me that 320. Okay. This one, it should work, that 320 divided by 2. Let's see here. 1 minus 2, 1, bring down my 2, goes in 6 times, minus 12, bring down my 0. Okay, so I know that my area is going to be 160, and I'm going to do, so it's a little bit more realistic, I'm probably going to do 160, oh, let's do, well, yep, it can be different. It's still going to be, the length is going to be the same, so maybe I could do 10 feet, and the width would be, what is that if I divide it by 10, 16 feet? Okay, so then if I do 10 feet times 16 feet, that'll give me 160, and then 160 times 2 is going to give me that 2 feet. So a lot of this you just kind of have to think, but you can work backwards, because if you figure out what your height is going to be, then you can figure out what the length and the width would be, because I know that these two is going to be my area, and I can figure out those length and the width.